Hello, okay, next video. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today from what I usually do. I'm actually going to show you guys how to make something. Well, more specifically, I'm going to show you guys how to make something that I've made in previous videos. This was actually requested by Sunshinish, I'll put the link there. They basically requested me, like, how to make the wig that I've used in my Party Monster, the ragdoll look, and I actually used it again in the Scary Clown look. That's actually this wig here. It's really simple to make. I mean, a few people in the past have actually asked me how to make it, and I've explained briefly how to do it. And it just dawned on me that, I mean, it's such an effective, I mean, it's quite cute, isn't it? I thought I might as well just make another one and show you guys how to do it. And I'm going to use a different colour, and I'm going to make it like quite a different style, but it's the same basic principle. So to make this wig, you're going to need some net. Okay? Obviously this is bright pink. But it's what I have lying around, and I really love this colour, so. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, preferably it'd be better if you had a colour that matched your hair that you're going to use, or the wool that you're going to use. But it doesn't matter too much, because if you're using the wool like I've used on this wig, it's quite thick, so it will cover, I mean, depending on how many rows of hair you do, it's going to cover the net anyway. But yeah, so net, you can use tights, I think. Yeah, fishnet tights. Just put them over your head and then cut them off at the... Yeah, but anyway, so you need quite a bit of that, enough to go around your head, basically, like a hairnet. Or you could use a hairnet. Anyway, yeah. And then you're going to need, obviously, some wool. I'm actually going to use, like, electric purple this time. It looks really blue on camera. But yeah, these are just called Big Softy. It's just really thick wool. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the thinner it is, the more hair you're going to have to knot in, basically. So yeah, for this wig, I used about 2 rolls. So, I mean, there's about 45 metres, I think it is, in each roll. So yeah, I would use about 90 metres worth of wool for this. For this wig I'm going to make, because I'm making it quite long, I'm probably going to use double that, to be honest. About 3 or 4 of these, okay? 3 or 4 rolls. Just because I'm going to make it really long. Just because that's the effect I want to go for. You don't have to do that. I mean, if you want to make this one, remember 2 rolls should suffice. Okay? And you're also going to need some thread, doesn't really matter what colour it is, and you'll also need, well, you don't need a sewing machine, it just makes it a lot easier just to sew the net. If you've got a hairnet that's got holes like this in it, already to the shape of the head, you don't need to, you can just skip the whole beginning steps. I'm just going to show you how I made the basic hairnet with holes in, basically. Actually, before I carry on, the thinner the holes are, the more hair you're going to be able to punch into it, not into it, okay? So it's like when you're making a wig of real human hair, the holes are tiny, and you need like a little fish hook to do it. For this, I'm just literally going to use my fingers to pull the hair through because, I mean, as you can see, it's really big holes in there, so easy peasy, okay? Okay, and you'll also need some scissors, okay, to cut the wool and the net and all that jazz. Okay, so before I start, I just have to say I'm not an expert in how to make wigs. I have learned in the past how to make like facial prestige, and I've learned how to knot hair into a wig and make a base, sort of. But, I mean, this is taking it to another extreme using wool and stuff around the house. So, yeah, the ways I'm going to show you how I do it is just to make things more easy, more simple, and just, I don't know, the easiest ways that I've found for doing things, okay? So, I'm going to take my net. There we go. And I'm literally going to put the back of my head and pull it round, okay, to the front. And now this that I'm using is stretchy, okay, so I'm going to pull it quite tight, so then I know when I put it on it will fit quite snug. Yeah? So, whoop. Now I know that's going to be all the material that I will need for this wig. So I'm literally going to cut all that off. So then I'm going to put the base where I want it to be, and I'm going to pull it all the way around, and it should meet really nicely, okay? So I'm going to take the 2 ends, right, like that, and I'm just going to sew together in here, okay, with my needle and thread. Okay, so when you've done that, you should start looking like this, okay? It will fit like that, okay? As daft as that looks. So then I'm going to take the back flap, and oh, it's really hard to show you. I'm not very good at showing you, am I? Let's try it this way. Okay. Yeah, right, so I'm going to take the back, pull it down, and then find where it meets, and pull that off. Okay, and then I'm going to sew right in the middle where the front meets the back, okay? Okie dokie, so once you've done that, you should have something that looks like this. So it's really hard for me to show you guys how to do it. Kind of looks like a pair of trousers. Right, so when you put it on, I mean, I've only put one stitch in the back, the two bits that I've sewed together, it's literally gone through and looped and pulled, so it's going to be really weak. It's like a base. I mean, you could pin it in, but it's a bit dangerous doing it this way. Okay, actually, I've just flipped it around the other way, just so I can show you what I mean with the next step. Okay, so I've got it all centred. So remember, this is the back of the head, I'm just pretending for now. Okay, so that's where I've sewn in the middle. Right, so I'm literally going to pull this down, and I know along here I want to cut all of this off, okay? Okay, so when I've cut off all the excess, it's going to look like that, if you can see that, okay? It should look like that, okay? Yep. So now I'm going to take the back, I keep doing that, I should put it around the other way so you can see. Yeah, okay, so now all this that I've cut off, I'm literally going to sew all this together till I get to about there on either side, okay? So just before I get to all this excess fabric. So all along there, and I'm going to stop about there, okay? Right? Okie so when you're done, you should have something that looks like that. So I've used my sewing machine to sew all along the bottom, just to leave the ends open, basically, the trouser parts, if you want to call them that, okay, the ends. I've used, yeah, a really long zigzaggy, ouch, like stitch, you can't really see that, just so it can grip all the holes together. Anyway, yeah, so now I'm going to put this on, I'm going to put it on backwards so you guys can see it, but make sure you guys have it the right way around, right way around. Okay, so you're just left with these, okay? So now I'm just going to literally grip there, and then cut all of that off, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Yeah, I know there's going to be a massive hole there, but we're going to sew that up like that. That's the most simple way, or actually no, don't do that. If I do that, and everyone else does that, people are going to start cutting their hair off. Don't do that. Yeah. Ta-da! Okay? So now we've got two, I suppose you can call them darts, like making a dress or a corset or something like that. Right? So now all we need to do is pinch these areas and sew all the way along, okay? On both sides. Actually, before I forget, make sure you do all your stitching, oh god, I need to be honest, man, all your stitching on one side, because at the end, after we've done this, oh, I wish you could see that. No, you can't see it. Because after we've done this, we just turn it inside out. If you turn it inside out, all the stitching's on the inside, so you're not going to see that on the outside. Okay, so I've stitched out one dart now, okay? So when I put it on backwards for you. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so this is on backwards. So you guys can see it's going to be the other way around. It's the dart's all made. So yeah, this little hangy bit off here, I know that I can cut that off, okay? I'm actually going to leave that until I've done the other dart. So once I've closed that up, then I will go all the excess, okay? So I'll just sew all along this seam, okay, when you cut this out. So exactly the same as you did. Okay, so I flipped this round the right way now. So when you've sewed along your darts, you should have something that looks like this, okay? So anywhere now where you can still pinch something that's flipping out like that, you want to do exactly the same. So you want to pinch them, sew along and cut off the excess. Okie dokie, so once that's done and you're sure you've got all of your darts put in place so it fits your head exactly, you should have something that looks like that, just a hairnet. Which I'm pretty sure most of you out there are probably going to want to use one of them, to be honest, instead of doing this. I'm not sure if you can get, well, if you can get a hairnet with diamond holes like this, it's fine, it's all good. If not, here we are. Yeah. Looks all good. You might have, if you've got a tiny little dart like this, you still need to tidy up. You can do, but to be honest, if it is that little, it's not going to mess it up in any way. I'm talking about like big lumps. If you still got to cut loads of fabric off, then fair enough. But yeah, so if you've done it right, you should have something that fits nice and snug, and there's no lumps and bumps. So now we can start on the knotting. Okay, so depending on what kind of look you're going for, depending on how you knot the hair. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different from last time. I think I'm going to be doing like a clown look, I think, this time. So I'm going to start at the back. So I'm going to take the length of hair that I want. It's always going to be the shortest at the back than the top, if that makes sense. So the top's going to be very long. So if you wanted it that length, that's what you'd get. But if you have the same length down here, it's going to be ridiculously long. So remember to get the length you want and then cut it shorter and shorter as you get down. So I'm going to take one of the squares at the bottom and I'm going to thread in the hair. So I'm going to loop the hair round, so it's like that, and I'm going to pull it through the net. I can't get my words out in a second. So then I've got this. Okay. And then I'm going to tuck the bottom bit through another hole. So I should have said when you cut it, make sure it's when you fold it in half, that's the length you want, because from every hair that you put through, it's going to be 2. So you'll have something that looks like that. Okay. So on the inside it looks like that. On the outside it looks like that. So you've literally just gone in, then back out again. All I'm going to do, really simple. This isn't how you professionally do knotting, but in fact, I mean, we're using wool. I'm using a lot of it, so you're not going to see any knot. So I've done a little loop, and I'm just going to knot it. Not pulling too tight at all, because the wool's probably going to break. That, okay? So when it drops, it just looks like that. Do this all along the bottom row, okay? So I'm just going to keep cutting the length I want. So yeah. So once you've done 2, it starts looking like that. I'm sorry if I'm explaining this wrong, or if you're just finding it hard to follow because the camera and all that. I'm sorry. But all I can say is you've gone in and out and knotted it, isn't it? So just like that. Now that's how far apart I do them. About 3 or 4 squares, okay? Because just basically every time you do it in like a brick fashion. So once you've done that, the next one will go directly above the middle to cover the gap. Okay? So there's the 2, the next one would go above it like that, and then the other 2 would go either side, then the middle, then the side, then the middle, just in case you've never left any gaps. Now to be honest, that's pretty much it. There's not much else I can say. You just keep going up and up and up and up and up until you cover the whole area, or the area that you want to cover. All I can say is if you want a centre parting, when you get to the middle of the mesh, when you get to the lifter here, if you want a centre parting, make sure you pull the knots in the direction that you want them to go. Otherwise the hair's not going to fall in the right place. So like with this one, I didn't have any parting at all, except I did have a fringe. So all the hairs that I knotted along the hairline, I just pulled forward when I did the knot, so if that makes sense. So it falls down. So if I shook it up, it would always fall in that direction. I would carry on going, but it's the same method. You pull it in and just keep going and keep going. I mean, you can end up watching TV and doing this. Try not to make it. I mean, you can make it really thick if you want, but the more wool you add into it, the more it's going to be outwards. If that makes sense. So if you really want it to be thin and straight, just make sure you measure, make sure you keep the consistency going all the way around. Like if you're going to miss 3 holes, do that all the way around, or 2, or because otherwise you'll have thicker patches in some areas and it'll just get all weird and confusing. Okay? So yeah, I'm going to go away now and I'm going to do quite a lot of it, and I'm going to come back and show you where I'm up to, and we'll go from there. Okay, right, it's been about 3 hours, 4 hours? I should have timed that. I think it's been about 4 hours now. So it just shows how quick you can do things. But this is what I've got so far. Okay? Yeah. It's a shame that colour doesn't show up better. It's like a really deep purple. It looks really dark blue on camera. That's what I've done so far, okay? So yeah, basically I've left like really big gaps in between it. So that's how I've managed to get this done so quickly. But because, as I said, because the wool's so thick, and I've pulled it downwards in the right directions when I've knotted it, it doesn't ever separate, okay? And it's really thick, so it doesn't look like I've left any patches or anything, because wherever I've left a big patch, I've done some knotting on top. Now with this, the look I'm going for, I've not finished it yet, but I'm going to be knotting. I actually took it off and got a pen and marked where I want my hairline to stop. So when I basically put it on, looked at what I'd done so far, and realised because I want it to look like a balding, like just like normal clown, no hair, loads of hair there, that kind of thing. So I'm going to incorporate a bald cap into this, but obviously that's a bit more technical. So if you're doing this at home, it's a case you just carry on with the hair and just pull it forwards in the direction you want it, as I keep saying, basically. And I'm going to be doing the tutorial straight after this, I think, when I finish this, hopefully tonight. So look out for that one. So yeah, I hope this tutorial was useful to some people. I mean, there's quite a lot of usage you can get out of making a wig out of wool. I mean, obviously the number one things is like a raggedy Andy kind of look, or just a clowny look. Or you could even put beads in these, and it could be their pirate look. That's actually a look I might do, if you guys want me to do it. Like a Jack from Pirates of the Caribbean look. Because, I mean, that kind of looks with a bandana and some brown wool. That'd be a fun look to do. And, I mean, it's quite a cheap look. I mean, if you can get a nice cheap wool, as I said, you can use really thin wool, as long as you use lots of it to bulk it out. It's quite a cheap wig that you can make yourself, and you can have a laugh with, and you can style it in loads of different ways. You can use loads of different colours of wool and have highlights in it. You could even you could bunch the sides and have like really, really big bushy pigtails. But yeah, lots and lots and lots of ways of doing this look. But yeah, I hope it was helpful to some people out there, and thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.